You're watching Points of Interest.
Hi guys, welcome back to Points of Interest. Thank you all for coming to hang out with us, talk about the Chronomancer today with Robert G. So thank you for coming and joining, Robert. Really quick reminder that most of you don't need, because you're awesome like that, just to keep chat on topic and friendly and respectful. Most of you don't need it, but we'll throw it out there anyway. We're going to talk about the Chronomancer today, and we are going to have some contributions from our players. We do not have PvP 101 today, and I'm sad. I was kind of looking forward to that. But Hugh is out sick, and I cannot do that by myself, which is why we have it in the first place. So, Robert, I'm going to thank you for coming and let you talk a little bit about what you're doing here at ArenaNet and what you're working on.
Okay. Well, I'm Robert G. I started at the company... Wow, it's been like 6 years already.
Oh my gosh.
I started on Guild Wars 1 actually, doing a lot of skill balance and skill reworking. Just a lot of various things from enemy reworks to PvP balance and things like that. Actually, if you are still playing, for all those Guild Wars 1 people out there, we're having the 10th anniversary right now. There's a lot of cool stuff out there. Our programmer, Joe Kim, has worked really hard on that, so there's a lot of fun stuff. So I hope you guys play it. I've been playing it.
Yeah, thank you, Joe, for all of the work that you put in on that. That was very much appreciated by a lot of us.
And I moved on to Guild Wars 2 after a certain point. I don't remember exactly when that was, but I worked on skills and balance team for a little while, and then I got moved over to specializations when we started gearing that team up. I was not actually the first designer to work on Chronomancer, though.
That's right. Chronomancer is not actually a new idea. I know most of you guys know that, but yeah, this is something we had way back when.
Yeah, this is back in Guild Wars Utopia. I think a lot of I watched a Wooden Potatoes video the other day. He actually mentioned he actually mentioned that it was from Utopia as well.
Yeah, we had some cool art of the Chronomancer. They were going to be constructs. They weren't human
yeah,
at first.
The original concept, as far as I know, at least from what I've garnered, I started at the company after we'd already started working on Guild Wars 2, but I believe they were supposed to be like constructs. I think do we have a picture of that?
Yeah, we've got that art that we saved, and there we go. Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, so they weren't originally even going to be human, which is actually a pretty big jump from Guild Wars 1 in general, since Guild Wars 1 was only humans, pretty much the only playable race.
Yeah, I really love the way those look. I'm glad we still have that art around. So, all right, so are we ready to jump in and show some Chronomancer stuff and talk about them?
Sure.
We're going to have some things that you guys read about. Robert wrote our blog post earlier this week, and it was really, really good. We're going to expand on a few of those things. We're going to let you see some of what Robert's already talked about, but you haven't gotten to see live and in person. And then we're going to show you some brand new things, too. So, let's go.
I guess I'll just start off with this fight so you guys can kind of see it in action. This is actually one of our new jungle areas.
Oh, I love this one. Bristleback.
So I'm just running around against this monster called the Bristleback. He's actually really cool. He shoots these crazy spikes, and there's this rolling guy who's chasing me too. I do not like these guys. They're really mean.
So many terrible, terrible things about the rolling devils.
They just chase. They live up to their name, I think.
Yes.
So you can see I'm running around a little bit, throwing down some wells. Ooh, that's a big flash. That's a pretty bright flash. I think I'm going to shatter the illusions pretty soon in this video.
Yeah.
So you can see how the alacrity mechanic functions. Let's see. I think it's right around here. Yep. So you can see that the... let me pause this actually and rewind it a little bit.
Oh, you know what? While you're rewinding it, we should probably mention that the skill icons...
Oh yes. Oh, the skill icons. By the way, these are all temporary skill icons. These are not the final. These are not the final art. You may recognize them from Guild Wars 1. A lot of them actually fit pretty well. These are the old Guild Wars 1 mantra icons on the right side of the bar for the wells, and then there's a couple other Guild Wars 1 icons on the other side. The F5, this is probably not going to be the final position for it either. It's probably going to move around a little bit, try and even things out.
It turns out this isn't actually done. We're still working on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
crazy, right?
We'll have to fast forward through that at some point. So as you can see, I've got the alacrity buff on me at this point in the video. And when you have chill, what chill does is it slows down your skill recharges and turns the numbers blue. Alacrity turns them green and makes them go faster. It's right now Alacrity. I don't think I mentioned this on the in the blog post, but Alacrity is currently a 66% increase in speed, whereas Chill is a 66% decrease in speed. So they're basically opposites. If you have both of them on you, you should basically have normal recharges. What it means is that if you're chilled, after I think it's like 3 seconds or so, you get an extra second of recharge. I'm not sure my math is right there. And then with Alacrity, if you have it for 3 seconds, you lose a second of recharge.
So you were right. We talked about this earlier this week, and I kind of wish I'd made a bet with you because you're clicking and people are freaking out. I took away Robert's gaming mouse, and I gave him a cruddy regular one, and I forced him to be a clicker. So
yeah, sorry.
Blame me.
It's all, this was also on a different machine. I have keybinds normally.
I brought them here.
This is good because now you guys can see the skill names. Everyone on Dolphy's probably screenshotting this.
Totally did that on purpose, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. He started playing and he was like, wait, and he's like banging his thumb on the side of the mouse and nothing was happening. And he just looked at me. And
the rolls were a little tricky. I usually use a side mouse button for that. And so this is actually a really good example. You can see how the slow conditions work. You can see the bristleback slowed down there. That was the Well of Action, which is one of our new wells. It applies slow. This is probably one of the most simple Chronomancer wells, actually. All it does, well, I don't want to say all it does, but it slows enemies, and then when it ends, it transmits that time to allies and gives them a burst of quickness. It also does some damage. I think pretty much all of the Chronomancer wells do some kind of damage. We wanted to provide, a little more AoE support for Mesmer since they've got Chaos Storm and they've got their Shatters, but we wanted to provide a little more of this kind of more obvious support through wells. That was another good slow moment for that. Like, it's really fun to watch him slow down like that.
It is. You can just see a lot more of his animation, and you can... I love the animation on his bristles, and I know that's not technically a Chronomancer thing, but he looks pretty good.
Another thing, the recharges that you're seeing here on these skills, they're not final. We've been tuning them up a little bit as necessary because basically Alacrity makes things... We're still trying to find the right balance on Alacrity since it affects all your skills and makes everything recharge faster. So we want to be able to tune the Chronomancer wells to the right. Let me just close that.
So Alacrity is like a huge thing for this.
Yeah. Basically, you'll get Alacrity. One of your minor traits, and this is mentioned in the blog post, will give you Alacrity every time you shatter. So the way it works, you basically want to shatter. It'll recharge some of your skills. You'll pump out a couple more clones and phantasms, and then you'll shatter again. And if you keep a good cadence of that with the shattering, and there's also some other skills, like there's a well that actually gives Alacrity. That one's actually very important for group play, since it's one of the very few ways that Chronomancers can give Alacrity to other allies. We're purposely limiting this a lot because we know that recharge is a very dangerous stat to allow players to mess with. This is partly the reason it was done through Alacrity in the first place, because we can control basically how it works. Alacrity, by the way, I think a lot of people were asking about this. I've seen some posts on this. Alacrity is a buff right now. It's not a boon. You can't increase it with boon duration. This was done intentionally.
Jeez, Robert.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm probably just going to be disappointing a lot of people by telling them random things about how we're actually balancing this class. I think a lot of people were much happier when it was just completely overpowered and breaking everything.
Do you think the people who were fighting the Mesmers were happy about overpowered and breaking everything?
Yeah, they probably not.
Not so much?
No, they were probably less happy about that.
I had some anger happening on that, so yeah.
There are also a few traits that affect Alacrity. We'll get into those if we have some time near the end.
Sweet. All right, so we got to look at the bristleback. What do you want to... I'm just completely in awe of everything that you did because you're a much better Mesmer than I am. So what are you going to let us see next?
I think next we can start talking about some of the shield skills. We talked about one of them, which was Tides of Time. This is your 5 skill.
Oh my gosh, I love this one.
Let me see if I can show you the first part of that in this video. This is just in the test area. So you can see it fires out and then returns. Let me just pause that. Jump back to the beginning. Actually, you know, I'll do this in slow motion. We've got a slow motion.
Yeah, we've got a slow-mo of that, and you can talk about it a little more.
All right, so it's a pretty simple skill.
You say this, but I watched you do this stuff, and you're like playing piano.
Yeah, okay, maybe it's a little more complicated than that. This is probably a bad way to phrase it. So basically, you can see the well firing out here. Oh, Just zip that back. So when you press it, you'll shoot at this wall, and the wall will travel forward a short distance, and then it will turn around, and the Chronomancer will basically rewind the wall back into the shield. And the wall, while it's traveling, will just block projectiles, so you can use it. You can fire it into a bunch of projectiles to basically stop yourself from getting shot by those pesky ranger volleys and things like that.
Hey.
And any enemy that gets hit, I'll let it go a little further, will get frozen in time. It's actually a little hard to see here, but basically, actually, it's probably a little easier in the previous bristleback video to see it. The enemy just will completely stop all their animation. It's equivalent to a stun, and you can break it like a stun. And then the wall will turn around and fly backwards. And anything it passes through on either side will get frozen if it's an enemy, and if it's an ally, you'll get quickness. So it's a really nice way to buff your party while also hindering a lot of the enemies. The other thing you may have noticed in this video, at the very beginning, I cast Illusionary Leap as the wall was flying forward. The wall is also an ethereal field. You can see the combo field as it goes through, so you can use it to proc some combo fields, have people shoot through it at the same time. The wall will attempt to return to you, but you can miss it on the way back. Let me see if I can. Do I fire it again in this video? I'm not actually sure if I fire it again in this video.
I think this was the other one. We got a lot of footage to show off for you guys, so you'll see a lot of things.
I don't think I'm going to fire it again in this particular video. I'll throw out the bristleback video again for those who wanted to see that again. I do throw it out a couple times. Oops, full screen. During this video, but you can move while it's traveling forward, and when it turns around, here we go. It'll turn around and it tries to return back to your original position. Mm-hmm. If you touch it on the way back, and actually I can go back and show you this a little slower. If you watch the recharge here, let me just move my mouse out of the way so you can see it. The recharge is about 40 seconds right now, and I've just fired it. But if you watch what happens when I catch the wave on the way back, it drops down to 20. So it refunds about 10 seconds worth of recharge right now. These are still numbers that are in flux. I'm going to say this a lot, I think, just to make sure that people don't
understand.
Go
This
crazy.
is not finished.
Yeah, we're going to be balancing all these numbers, but it refunds a portion of its recharge on the way back as long as you touch the wall, which makes it really useful. You really are encouraged to touch the wall, not just for the quickness, but also just for this recharge bonus, because it has a fairly prohibitively long recharge. Normally, 40 seconds is pretty long for an offhand, really just any weapon skill. Mm-hmm. There's only a couple that are, I can think of that are longer. Are there any that are longer? I think there's a couple.
Well, you're the person I would ask about that, so.
Well, I don't think there are any ones that are longer on Mesmer offhand. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the second ability here. Let me see if I'm not sure we have a great video of that, but we do have it on the desktop here. This is, you've probably seen this image here. This is the second Chronomancer shield skill. This is called Echo of Memory. And what it is, it's basically a block stance. This can be used while moving. This character just isn't moving right now, but it basically puts a little shield bubble up around you, and it lets you block the next attack against you. Now, this was another actually big point that some people were mentioning on the forums, that the shield doesn't have a phantasm. This is actually not true, because this skill right here creates a phantasm.
I feel like you've been waiting all week to say that.
Yeah, well, so the shield does have phantasm. We really want to make sure that, if you have a weapon, if you have your full 5 suite of weapon skills, that you have access to a clone and access to a phantasm. This is just a general thing that all Mesmers are going to have. So when you block an attack with this, it will summon a phantasm on the enemy you blocked. Actually, it will also summon a phantasm right now on any enemy you targeted when it ends. So you'll get the phantasm either way. It's just a much more delayed phantasm than most. It will summon an illusionary chronomancer. I don't know if one of these videos has it.
I think, is it this one here?
No, I don't think that one has it. But let's see. I think this video does at some point near the end. Let's see. Yeah. This is, here we go. So you can kind of see, there, here is the new, well, I just shattered it. I was too fast. So near the end of this, near the middle of this video, this is, I activate the shield, and where is the, oh, I think I missed it on that one. You have to have an enemy targeted to actually summon it if it expires normally. So you block for a few seconds right here, and then when it ends, if I have an enemy targeted, which I do, it will summon this illusionary chronomancer. This is not the final name. I think I originally called it illusionary shielder, which is not really super accurate or really even a word.
But it's a word now. First.
And so what the Illusionary Chronomancer does is he will throw his shield kind of like a certain Marvel superhero, and which I will not say for fear of copyright infringement. But the shield will bounce around. It bounces between allies and enemies. If it hits an ally, you'll actually gain alacrity. And if it hits an enemy, it will slow them down, applying the new slow condition. And you can get and basically this is a really nice party. This is again another party support. We're trying to really emphasize the dual nature of the Chronomancer, in that if you take time from one place, you can put it somewhere else, or you can give time somewhere, but you have to take it away from somewhere else. So he basically kind of steals time from enemies and then gives it to your allies. And the fun thing about this guy is that if you can summon multiple of these shield-throwing illusionary chronomancers, they can actually speed each other up, because the shield will bounce back to the other ones, and they'll actually, once you get them, they have this kind of synergistic effect where they will speed each other. They will basically allow each other to attack more often. But I mentioned in the blog that both of the shield skills have kind of a neat special mechanic to let you use them more than once. So this one does. It's not demonstrated in this video. It's demonstrated near the end of the bristleback video, I believe. But it's a little fast.
You were doing everything in that bristleback fight.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to demonstrate as much as I possibly can.
That was a good thing.
You're not going to see it till the end of the video. I don't know exactly which part of the video it was in, but it's very quick, and you only see it for a very short moment. But the idea behind it is that if you actually do block an attack, the skill will flip and become a new skill called Deja Vu. And Deja Vu, well, you've seen it before. It does the same thing as Echo of Memory. So it'll allow you to do a second block before the skill goes on recharge. And you get that block for about 10 seconds. So basically, this is actually a really strong phantasm generation tool. Even though it has I think it's like a 2 or 3 second delay before the phantasm comes out, because you can use it twice in one use. If you're blocking, you have to actually block the attack to get Deja Vu. And the other fun thing about that is that while you have Deja Vu on your bar, the original skill is still recharging. So you can actually get 2 uses out of this. I think it's about a 30-second recharge on a block, but you can actually get 2 blocks every 30 seconds or so with this. With this one, we really wanted to make sure that you had some good defensive options for when you're running in melee, because if you're using a sword, I use this with Scepter sometimes. Because you can block single projectiles. It's not great for some barrage attacks, but you can definitely the other skill, Tides of Time, is more useful for barrages because it can destroy many incoming projectiles. Whereas this one is more for single big hits that you want to avoid.
That's sort of handy with this guy with all the projectiles in the whole wide world. So you were talking about phantasms earlier, and we talked earlier this week about supporting phantasm builds more often. Do you want to go there for a little bit?
So there's a couple things that we do to support phantasms with the Chronomancer. The first one is alacrity, like I mentioned before. The illusionary Chronomancers can speed each other up, and if you have other phantasms out, phantasms also benefit from alacrity. They have actual attack skills with recharges. There's also a new well. The well is called Well of Recall. This was one of the ones that I think was mentioned. I think there was a screenshot of it, but I don't think we actually described this one in the press release. So Well of Recall is basically your alacrity well. It's probably one of the most important wells that the Chronomancer has. What it does is it pulses alacrity to all the allies within its radius. So it's really great in dungeons or just in small groups, because you really do need to time it, though, because you want to make sure that your allies have also blown their kind of high cooldown moves before you activate it. Because if you use it beforehand, it doesn't really benefit them. And then when it ends, it takes all that alacrity that it gave to allies and instead chills enemies. So it slows their recharge in exchange for speeding up your allies' recharge. And this can be cast on. You don't have to wait to have a lot of allies to do this on. Mesmers always have a couple allies with them in the form of phantasms and clones. So you can actually speed up the recharge of your phantasms with this. It's not as useful on clones because clones basically only have an auto attack, so you're not going to see as much benefit there since there's nothing really to speed up. Auto attacks have 0 recharge anyway. But that's just one of the ways that we're trying to support phantasm builds. I'd like to show you guys one of the traits we have for phantasm builds. This is one of the Grandmaster traits. I was holding back on this one, but this one's probably pretty cool. We're just going to show this to you. This is a new phantasm trait. This is a Grandmaster, so you cannot take this with the other skills. So you can see I've summoned illusionary defender here. It's going to run up. And when this trait is equipped, this trait is called Chronophantasma because it's a Chronomancer skill that affects phantasms.
But it's the closest you've got to a pun, I want to point out, by the way.
Oh, well, there's been so
proud.
much information, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just the illusionary defender. You notice it's got some butterfly effects on it. And we'll just let it attack for a little while. And I'll summon another one here. This is the illusionary disenchanter. You can see he's also got this kind of weird butterfly effect on him. So basically, whenever you have this trait equipped, you will summon these types of phantasms. And then when you shatter them, you can see that they died, but they're still around here. What it does is this trait, if you shatter a phantasm, only phantasms, by the way, this doesn't work on clones. We have other traits for that. It will resummon the phantasm immediately. We're still balancing this because obviously if you shatter 3 illusionary duelists, they will all shoot at the same time. We're going to be putting in some stopgaps to
I fail to see the problem.
Yeah, well, I'm just a little scared of having an entire 3 gunners just gunning a single guy down at the same time. It's a little terrifying. There'll be a couple of balancing things that we're doing to balance this, but the fun thing about this is we want it to allow phantasm players to shatter their phantasms. Because that way you can still get the alacrity bonus for yourself by shattering them, but you'll also be able to not lose out on that DPS that you're getting from phantasm, because traditionally phantasm builds want to keep them out as long as possible. So with this new trait, oh, by the way, it only works once. I should be really clear on that. You notice these phantasms now do not have that same butterfly effect on them, so when I shatter them here, in a second.
Okay, this time you're really done.
This time they're gone. This time they're gone. Also, you can see the alacrity effect is kind of this burning purple fire to show that your cooldowns are heated up as opposed to cooled down from chill.
That looks amazing. Kudos to whoever did that.
So I'll demonstrate a couple more times in this particular video. I am resetting my recharges using some dev commands, so just so we can demonstrate it a few times a little faster. But he was destroyed, and now he's back. And so it's only once per phantasm is the way it works. It's not necessarily once per shatter.
So you can't just infinitely blow it up and still have
you can't blow it up forever. Each phantasm basically gets 1 extra life. It's kind of like the one up.
I was trying so hard not to say 1 up. I'm sitting here going, don't say it. Let Robert do it.
Yeah. And you can see this case I'm demonstrating a clone and a phantasm, and the phantasm responds, but the clone does not. This is pretty important for us. We don't want to just respawn all of your phantasms. There is a trait for clones I can go into really quick here, actually. Let's see, which one is it? Right. So this is another one of the Chronomancer traits. It's called Illusionary Reversion. And this is your kind of reverse time for clones. So you notice I just shattered 2 clones, and then a new clone appeared right on top of me. So what this does is whenever you actually use a shatter, it will just give you it's basically a free clone. This one, however, you can see won't work for phantasms. So you've got kind of a lot of options there. You can, if you want to specialize in clone generation, you can use this skill, which will get you more clones, or you can specialize in phantasms, or you can really specialize in both. It's actually pretty fun to run both of these traits. It's pretty crazy because you can always have a lot of guys just filling the battlefield.
Yeah. So you still have. Do you want to talk a little bit more about the wells?
Yeah, there's actually a lot of. I think. Let's see, which wells did I go over?
I'm trying
so far?
not to keep lunging over and poking at this, going, do this now.
Okay.
Because you do know what you're doing, but
yeah. So we've gone over a couple wells. I actually there was a second well in this video here. Actually, I'll play this at normal speed so you can see me mouse over everything. Your heal. Oh, okay. So hopefully you caught all of that. Right, and so this first well that I'm showing right now is the Well of Calamity. It is your damage well. It has the lowest recharge out of all the wells because it mostly just does damage. It does a couple pulses that do some light damage and it inflicts a few conditions, and then the final pulse just does a very large spike of damage. So this is definitely one of those times where you have to make sure you're timing the well, putting it in the right spot. Because if the enemy moves out of the well before the 3 seconds are up, all the wells are 3 seconds, by the way. They pulse 3 times, and then on the last pulse they do something cool. If they roll out of it, you lose out on, I think, over half the damage is on the end of this skill. So you have to be really careful about that.
I like the animation on the pulsing, by the way.
Oh yeah, the pulsing is really awesome. We're still trying. It used to be a lot noisier, but we're trying to tone that down. But I'm going to show you the noisy one right now because this one's like a lot of fun. This is your elite gravity well. We showed this off in the trailer video. The golems are set to automatically return to their points, but the basic idea behind this well is it pulls everyone to the center. You can see that. You can see all the enemies kind of just get yanked into the center. It does damage. Like Well of Calamity, this is also a very powerful well if you hit the end effect, but it's a lot easier to hit the end effect because of the fact that it's pulling everyone in. It's a very strong CC ability. I'll play that again for you guys who missed it.
Yeah, I left that for about 3 rounds there.
It also grants stability to allies who are in it. Again, going off of this theme of duality for the Chronomancer. So allies will be more stable, whereas enemies will be unstable. At the end, it's also applying a float effect. This is kind of an underwater thing. We do feel that this is a little too powerful right now in that float is it's like what 3 stuns in a row, three CCs in a row followed by another CC. We're likely going to remove that last CC, but I wanted to show it to you because it looks really funny. Especially on the bristleback. The bristleback
was great.
The bristleback is the best because he flips upside down when he tries to float, and it just gets buried in the ground.
Yeah, I think I left that there. Yeah, his entire top half was just straight down in the ground. It was like those deer from way back when.
Right. So I think we should probably just talk. I think that's most of the wells. I think we talked about the well of precognition in the blog post. I talked about the well of recall. That's the alacrity well. I've talked about the. Your heal well is. It's pretty simple. There's some complexities you can find out with it later, but it's basically a healing well. It heals you when you activate it, and grants vigor to allies. And then after 3 seconds, it gives a secondary heal to everyone who's still standing in the well. This one's a little tricky to use because it heals for about half as much as a normal heal, but the second half of the heal is basically 3 seconds later. So if you can wait for it, it's not really going to save you if you're getting spiked out, but it's definitely a really good support well since it can also heal allies. And it's a pretty big heal for a party heal like that.
Yeah, it can help out a little bit.
All right.
Do you want to? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So next, I'm just going to jump really quick since I know that we've ran through a lot of time really quick. Time flies, right?
Yes.
So I wanted to show you one of the tricks we talked about on the blog, which is something you can do with the new F5, which is the continuum shift skill.
Oh. Was this your party trick?
Yes, this is a fun little party trick you can do. Actually, I'm going to show this in slow motion because it's a lot. Oh, I did have the slow motion version up. So this is something you can do with Tides of Time. So first of all, I'm going to shatter them and create the continuum rift. We didn't talk about this in the blog post, but this is the marker to tell where you're going to return to. So I'm going to fire out Tides of Time and then revert, and then fire a second Tides of Time. And if you watch the recharge at the bottom, you can see that it actually recharges the skill twice. So you can gain a huge recharge bonus from this skill. By the way, for those of you who are staring at this intently and noting that the recharge is 60 seconds, we've already increased from there. 60 seconds was actually way too imbalanced because of all the alacrity you can get. These are not the final numbers again. I'm going to say this a lot. It's going to sound like I'm on a
Hey, are these the
here.
final numbers?
No, they're not.
And I did hear you say time loop.
So this is just one of the fun things you can do with the continuum shift spell. Shatter, rather. You can catch the skill twice. I mentioned the heal earlier. The thing about the continuum shift skill is that it's kind of a double-edged sword. In that if you are at low health when you activate it, and then someone else heals you or you heal yourself, you're going to go back to that low health. So it doesn't actually matter that you've healed yourself.
So the way you got, I'm going to tell on myself a little bit, the way you wound up thinking, I need to explain that during the live streams, you were telling me this and I got super excited. And you're like, wait, hold on.
Right.
If you heal yourself, it's going to be terrible.
So if you heal yourself, it's not really a great idea. However, the Chronomancer heal is a little different in that, if you recall, I said that it heals after a small delay. So what you can do is you can still get about half the heal bonus by activating your heal during the continuum shift and then warping back. And then you'll get the secondary heal, and that'll actually count towards your health bar. And then you can just cast it again, and so you get like, I guess, 1.5 heals at that point. It's no free lunch, but it's still pretty good.
It's a discounted lunch.
And I'm gonna I do want to say one more thing about continuum shift before we move on, and that is that that little rift that you saw earlier. I'll play this again so you can see it. Let's see. Create some clones. Shatter them. Okay, so this is the continuum rift, and this is going to show the point that I'm going to come back to. This is important for two reasons. It's important for the player to know where they're going to come back to, because you might forget where it is. If you jump off something, you'll be able to revert back to this point. The other reason that this is important is for counterplay. This continuum rift is actually an attackable gadget in our game. It's kind of like basically it's like an engineer turret, except I guess it doesn't shoot or anything. It can't move, but you can attack this, and it has a health bar. I can't show it now, obviously, since I can't attack my own creatures. But it does have a health bar, and if the rift is shattered by someone attacking it too much, if it gets destroyed, you will warp back there regardless of whether you want to or not.
Ooh.
So it's a bit of a double-edged sword. One of the counterplays that you can do on this particular skill is, if you're an elementalist and the Mesmer tries this, you can just drop an AoE on this spot, and he's going to come back here. And if you destroy the point, he's going to come back right on top of that AoE. So Mesmers, be really careful where you're putting this thing, because you do not want to, wind up in a meteor shower when you come back.
Don't be careful. I play Ellie.
Oh.
Just throw that down wherever.
Yeah, so this is one of the elements of counterplay we have. I mean, that the Mesmer is going to come back to this point, but we also wanted to allow people to counterplay it. It does provide an interesting choice, though, because while the Mesmer is in this mode, you don't necessarily want to attack him, but if you ignore him, he's just going to be spamming all his skills because he knows he's going to get them back. So it's a little bit of risk to for the enemy player to be attacking this rift and not paying attention to the Chronomancer.
Fine.
And so like I was saying, there's a lot of possibilities of the continuum shift here. You can do a lot of fun tricks. You can double cast a lot of your skills, and I think it'll be a really fun ability for our players to play around with once they're able to play this either on our betas or when this goes live with Heart of Thorns. I'm really excited to see what kind of crazy combos people come up with. I only came up with these two: the catching the time wave on the way back, and the.
It's pretty cool looking though.
Yeah. But there's I'm sure there are a lot of other fun combos that you guys can do. I think I've seen some interesting theory crafting on a few of them. I'm not sure all of them will work out because we haven't provided all the information on how this works yet. But I'm excited for the kind of weird tricks that people will do, going, especially like on the new Stronghold map. There's a lot of fun things you can do. You can stop and you can throw that time wave through an entire group of marching door breakers and just freeze them all in place, and then it comes back and freezes them again. Some fun possibilities there.
Oh, thank you. I didn't think about that. Everybody's going to do it, but still. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we do one last right here, because it looked fantastic.
Okay. Here is just another fun video of some Heart of Thorns creatures. These are called pocket raptors. They are
my favorite.
They're basically raptors, pocket-sized raptors, and they are dangerous. Like, they are just destroying me right here.
Yeah, they were. When they first came in, when I first stumbled across them, they were doing 0 damage, and you could just give them a dirty look, and they'd fall over dead. So they were super fun and kind of cute. So they've started hurting more.
Unfortunately, I managed to get away here. This is a good demonstration of the Tides of Time ability. I'm going to throw that out here, I believe. Yep.
Yeah.
And this will just freeze them all in their tracks, and then when it comes back, it'll freeze them again. This is also an instance you see where I missed catching the Tides of Time, though. It has a limited duration. Even though it tries to return back to you, it will expire after a certain amount of time, and you can actually dodge out of the way because it won't change its trajectory on the way back. It'll basically look to try and hit you on the way back, and then it'll just go in that direction. So
but it's not going to keep angling.
But it's not going to keep angling.
Yeah.
It's a little different than the Elementalist Phoenix. I know a lot of people have compared it to that skill. This is another Gravity Well at the very beginning there, just yanking all of them into the center, which is really, really fun.
Yeah, that one is probably one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, I really like Gravity Well. It's definitely going to be one of the fun things to double cast with the Continuum Shift skill.
Yeah. All right, so here's my question that I didn't tell you I was going to ask. Surprise.
Okay.
Robert's like, oh gosh, I'm leaving. So Mesmer has not necessarily been my personal cup of tea. I already told you that it was my least played class because it wasn't working for me. I am not the only one who is looking at this going, this looks incredibly cool. It's time to go back and give my Mesmer another shot. Where do you suggest we start?
Well, with the way the specializations are set up, you'll be earning these skills just in a particular cadence. I think it starts with. I think our current format is you'll start to earn the minor traits first. The minor traits in these situations, we try to make those kind of define the kind of play style of the class. So you'll get a minor, which will allow you to use the continuum shift skill, which will allow you basically just kind of play around with it in kind of a consequence-free environment. And you'll start unlocking other skills from more of the wells and more of the major trait lines. For starters, I mean, I think really it's just fun to play around with the shield first. Like the shield has a lot of really obvious applications, even if you're not trying to maximize the recharge. Like you have a block, which is really useful in general, and I'll run the Pocket Raptors video again. That was a fun video.
The shield turned out to be ridiculously versatile, and
yeah, it's really versatile.
Kind of enjoying that.
Yeah, but what I like about the shield is that it has a lot of kind of simple applications you can use. I mean, it's a very simple CC skill. You can throw it at enemies. Most of the time, it'll return to you if you're not moving around too much or rolling away. So you'll usually get that free recharge on it, and then you can play with the other things later. Like quickness is always really valuable to have with pretty much any main hand. I actually run this with Scepter a couple times. It helps increase the speed of some of the Scepter attacks, which is really nice since it's a little on the slow side. And then basically because they have immediately simple, easy to use applications, it's a good starting weapon. And then once you start getting some of the wells, I'd recommend starting with the damage well. It doesn't do much besides damage and a couple conditions.
Damage,
But damage is good. It's easy for people to understand. And then once you get a little further in to these kinds of, let me play that bristleback video again while we're talking.
You really like that one.
This is great. I love this guy.
I love the character. I hate the Rolling Devils very much.
I actually kind of regret I didn't bring like a reflex skill here against this guy.
You're gonna go back to your desk afterwards and try that, aren't you?
Probably.
Yeah. That would suck.
Well, he's shooting a lot of projectiles.
Reflecting all those, that is going to hurt him. Okay.
Sorry, where did I live? Oh, yeah, so the wells. I recommend probably starting off with the damage well. The well of recall, which gives alacrity, is also really useful. I mean, just drop it on yourself, get some extra alacrity. Alacrity stacks duration, not intensity, just in case anyone was curious on that one. There are also a couple fairly passive Chronomancer traits that you can take advantage of, that just give you something while you're normally playing. There is an interrupt trait in there. That one's a little more complex, but if you're just starting out, there's a trait, for example, that makes alacrity last a little longer, and so you can use that to try and get a little more recharge out of it. And then once you've kind of gotten comfortable with Chronomancer, that's when you can start doing these kind of weird experiments with the continuum split and continuum shift skills. It's because it's a double-edged sword, it's very easy when you're first starting out to be like, wait, do I really want to shift here? Because if I shift here, I'm going to come back and I've got all these skills on recharge. And they're going to go back on recharge when I shift back. And that's just going to be...
And I'll sit there and think about it until the fight is over.
Yeah. And because it requires some kind of clone generation, you have to be using those resources for clone generation.
That's so cool.
Ahead of time. So if you're using, for example, Deceptive Evasion, you have to spend that endurance beforehand, which means you're not going to get it back. Which means maybe you'll warp back out of your continuum shift, and you'll be like, I can't dodge anymore. But my dodge bar was full because I'd let it recharge during it.
And then it got rid of it all. That was.
But yeah, the nice thing though about continuum shift is that it will save you if you're about to die. So activating it before you're about to die isn't a bad idea, but it's not. But you'll still come back with very little health.
Yeah. All right, that was a lot to take in the best of ways. So I really appreciate you coming and talking on here and letting us see the Chronomancer. You got to do the very first specialization. All right, so Hugh has abandoned us. Not really by choice, but I'm going to throw him under the bus anyway. But I want to take a minute as we finish up to look over some of our fan community projects. I'm like thrown by not preparing for PvP 101, and I don't know what I'm going to do over the next 2 weeks. So this first one is from Chris. These are his little Sculpey Quaggan sculptures, and I'm loving the story behind it. He made the pink one for his wife, and then it turned out just like a cute little random surprise, and then he had so much fun, he made the entire collection. So we have the killer whale, the pink and blue quaggins, and the one that's not finished is like the hulked out angry attack quaggin.
I like that one.
That is my favorite.
That one's got a great expression.
Yeah.
These look really accurate too. Like I'm really impressed how accurate these look to like they look just like the backpacks you can get.
I'm looking at the scale and how tiny they are and the amount of detail given the size.
We need to like ask if we can get one of the hulked out ones for a backpack. I think the hulked out backpack would be really cool.
That would be amazing. Okay, we're gonna need to go find somebody after we're done. And, hey, so we thought of this thing and we said it in front of like thousands of people on live. And why are you throwing things at me? I think is going to be the next thing that we say. All right, so the next one, I actually love this in large part. This is from Gemly, and I like this in large part because of the little story she sent with submission. She said, this is some fan art of my favorite character, Ritlock, from Guild Wars 2. God knows how long this took, but I'm really proud of the result. I really like hearing our community say that they're proud of the work they show us. Just because a lot of people, I mean, it's hard putting yourself out there like that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people send us stuff and they're like, so I made this thing and I guess, whatever, it's fine.
Well, I can definitely tell there's a lot of work that went into this, like the detail on like the fire trail and things like that. You don't, like it would have been, easy to shortcut that and just draw the fire on the sword, but that trail just shows a lot of detail.
Yeah.
And a lot of effort that got put into this.
Yeah, and it paid off. It looks absolutely beautiful. So, send this stuff, be proud of it. And we're showing it off because we love it and we think it's fantastic. As a matter of fact, there's so much of it that we love and think is fantastic. If you go over to guildwars2.com, we have the community showcase, more contributions than will fit here on the show. Anatoly Ingram wrote up a blog post that kind of features more things on there. So thank you so much, Toly. Absolutely loved these. And you can see more of these and the details about what they are and how they came to be on guildwars2.com. And finally, you can submit your own stuff, and we really, really want you to because we do love this. You can go to the Guild Wars 2 Tumblr and click the Submit button, and we will get that up on the site. So thank you guys very much for all of the stuff that you send because we really do enjoy it. Those are Primordus shots.
Oh.
Up in the corner. They were absolutely my favorite. She had like an entire line of drinks for all the Elder Dragons.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I absolutely love it.
You can drink the drinks just like the dragons drink magic, right?
That, I did not go there, but now I really kind of love it. Yep, I'm going to just pretend that that's what they intended. Surprise culinary cosplay. We just made this decision for you. So that was really, really awesome. I appreciate you. You have spent a lot of time helping prepare for this week, so I thank you.
It's definitely been a big time investment.
Worth it?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm just actively ignoring your puns because I'm intimidated by them. I'm like, I keep thinking about, just really crappy time puns, but I can't approach your level of time punnery. So I'm kind of letting them go.
I had a lot of practice in Guild Wars 1. We have a lot of bad puns in Guild Wars 1.
The bad puns are the really good ones.
Yes, exactly. The worse it gets, the better it feels when you say them.
I can't. You've been doing it all week, and it's absolutely cracking me up. So, all right, thank you guys very much for watching POI and hanging out with Robert and I. Robert, thank you for your time.
Yep.
If you want to hear about another specialization, we could probably accommodate that. Tune in next week for Ready Up at the same time, right here, and Josh will have another one for you. Josh, do you want me to tell him what it is? No? Okay. You have to wait and find out.
I guess it'll be a secret. Hope you all enjoy the Chronomancer.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for watching Points of Interest.